Commander Jack Reed had seen many strange things during his 15 years with Earth's defense fleet, but nothing like this. He stood at the viewing deck of Luna Base, his breath catching in his throat. The alien ship hung above the moon like a giant silver leaf, shimmering against the blackness of space. It was at least 3 miles long and showed no visible engines or weapons. "Commander Reed." A young officer appeared at his side. "They're ready for you in the meeting room." Reed nodded, straightening his uniform. As Earth's highest-ranking military officer present, he would be one of the first humans to meet beings from another world. The meeting room was packed with important people, politicians, scientists, and military officers from every major nation on Earth. Reed took his seat at the large round table as the main doors slid open. The aliens entered slowly. There were 5 of them, each different from the others. One looked like a tall blue human with 4 arms. Another resembled a walking tree with glowing spots. The leader appeared to be a gray-skinned being with large black eyes and a small mouth. "We welcome Earth to the greater community of stars." The gray being said in perfect English, "I am Ambassador Lore of the Galactic Concord, an alliance of 327 sentient species across this arm of the galaxy." For the next hour, Ambassador Lore explained how they had been watching Earth for decades, waiting until humans had reached a certain level of development before making contact. "We invite Earth to join our Concord," Lore said. "We offer knowledge, technology, and protection." The Earth representatives were excited but cautious. When Reed's turn to speak came, he asked about military cooperation. "What kind of defense capabilities does the Concord have? And what would Earth's role be in your military structure?" The room temperature seemed to drop. All 5 aliens became very still. The tree-like being's glowing spots darkened. "We have substantial defensive capabilities," Ambassador Lore said carefully. "However, there is one condition to Earth's membership that is non-negotiable." The main screen lit up with a treaty document, with one section highlighted in red. Asterisk, "The species known as humans, Terra/Earth, shall be forbidden from participating in any military operations, strategic planning, or weapons development within Concord space. Earth may maintain defensive forces for its own solar system only." Asterisk. The room erupted in confused questions. Reed leaned forward. "You're saying you want our resources, our cooperation, but you don't want our help in defending the Concord. Why?" Ambassador Lore's large eyes blinked slowly. "It is complicated, a matter of historical precedent. Please understand this is for the safety of all species, including yours." Debates raged for days afterward. Some Earth leaders wanted to reject the treaty, seeing the restriction as an insult. Others argued that the benefits of joining the Concord, advanced medicine, faster-than-light travel, clean energy, were too valuable to refuse. In the end, Earth signed the treaty. 6 weeks later, Commander Reed received new orders. He was being assigned as Earth's military liaison to the Concord flagship, Eternal Harmony. "Your mission is to understand," General Wilson told him during the briefing. "Find out why they fear our military capabilities so much. What aren't they telling us about ourselves?" As Reed packed his bags for a journey to the stars, he placed a small Earth flag in his pocket. Whatever these aliens thought they knew about humans, he was determined to discover the truth. He had no idea that the answer would shake the foundations of human history itself. 6 months had passed since Commander Jack Reed left Earth. Life aboard the Concord flagship Eternal Harmony was both amazing and frustrating. Reed stood on the observation deck, watching stars streak by as the massive ship traveled through space. The view still took his breath away, but the walls around him felt like more than just metal. The aliens had built invisible barriers too. "Enjoying the view, Commander," a voice said behind him. Reed turned to see Tala, a reptilian officer with 4 arms and scales that shimmered like copper. Among all the aliens on the ship, she was the only one who spoke freely with him about military matters. "Just thinking about home," Reed said. "You humans are very attached to your world." Tala said, standing beside him. Two of her arms were folded, while another held a datapad. "We're attached to our people," Reed corrected. "I worry about Earth's safety with only our own defenses." Tala's scales rippled, which Reed had learned was their version of discomfort. "The Concord protects all member worlds," she said, "but we can't help protect others," Reed pointed out. 6 months here, and still nobody will explain why. Their conversation was interrupted by a loud alarm. Red lights flashed throughout the ship. "Battle stations," announced a calm voice over the speakers. Tala's body tensed. "We've received a distress call. The mining colony on Proxus 9 is under attack by Ravagers." Reed had heard about the Ravagers during his time on the ship. They were not part of the Concord, a violent species that attacked settlements and took resources by force. "I'm coming with you," Reed said, following Tala to the bridge. The ship's bridge was a large room with control stations for 20 different officers of various species. Captain Moore, a tall being with glistening blue skin, stood in the center. "Dropping out of faster than light travel in 30 seconds, announced a pilot. Reed watched as the view screen showed the asterisk Eternal Harmony asterisk arriving at Proxus 9. The mining colony was built into the side of a crater. Small ships were attacking it, firing red beams at the colony's defenses. "Ravager attack pattern," Captain Moore said calmly. "Standard defense formation beta." Reed frowned as he watched the Concord's ships move into positions that seemed needlessly complex. "Captain," Reed said, stepping forward, "if we split our forces and attack from both sides, we cooled." "Thank you, Commander," Captain Moore interrupted politely. "But we will follow Concord battle protocols." Reed watched in growing frustration as the battle unfolded. The Concord ships were more powerful than the Ravagers, but they fought in ways that seemed almost ceremonial. They moved in specific patterns, gave warnings before major attacks, and left openings that any human commander would have exploited. 3 hours later, the Ravagers finally retreated, but not before destroying 2 mining facilities and damaging a Concord vessel. In the aftermath, Reed approached Captain Moore. "Captain, with respect, we could have ended that battle in half the time with fewer losses if—" "Commander Reed," Captain Moore said softly, "war is not about efficiency for us. You wouldn't understand. Yet." As Reed walked away, he noticed Tala watching him with all 4 of her eyes. "If you truly want answers," she whispered as he passed, "meet me in the historical archives tonight. There are things about your kind that even you don't know." The ship's archive was dim and quiet when Reed arrived. Only a few soft lights glowed among the tall shelves of data crystals and ancient books. Tala was waiting for him in a corner, all 4 of her hands moving nervously. "We must be quick," she said. "I am not supposed to show you these records." "Why are you helping me?" Reed asked. Tala's scales rippled with what Reed now recognized as worry. "Because I believe the past should not control the future, and because I think the Concord's fear may be outdated." She led him to a small room with a round table in the center. Above the table, a holographic display flickered to life. "Computer," Tala said, "access historical records of the last Great War, specifically files on the terror species. Warning: these files require Level 1 clearance," the computer responded. Tala placed her palm on a scanner. "Override. Science Officer Tala. Authorization code 7 to 9 Delta Green." The display changed, showing images that made Reed catch his breath. Planets burning. Ships torn apart. Star systems in ruins. "The last Great War happened 10,000 years ago," Tala explained. "It nearly destroyed all civilization in this part of the galaxy." Reed watched as images showed battles between alien fleets. What were they fighting over? "It didn't start as a big war," Tala said. "It was many small conflicts that joined together because of one species that kept changing the rules. The terror species." Tala nodded. "They were newcomers to space travel, like humans are now, but they approached war differently than any species the Concord had ever seen. The display showed shadowy figures moving among stars. Their images were blurred, as if the records had been damaged. Most species fight wars according to cultural rules and traditions, Tala continued. The terror species fought to win, no matter what. They adapted quickly, copied enemy technology, and used it in ways nobody expected. That sounds like military innovation, Reed said. Not terror. To you, perhaps. But imagine playing a game where one player keeps changing the rules, using moves you never considered possible. It would feel wrong. As Tala searched for more files, Reed noticed something strange. The few clear images of the terror species showed beings that walked on two legs, with two arms and a head on top. They look, Reed started. Suddenly, bright lights flooded the room. In the doorway stood a massive being with tentacles instead of arms and skin that looked like wet stone. Admiral Kor, the oldest member of the ship's command staff. Science Officer Tala, the Admiral said, his voice sounding like rocks grinding together. You have violated security protocols. Admiral, Tala began, her scales now a pale yellow from fear. Leave us, Kor ordered. After Tala hurried out, the Admiral turned his ancient eyes to Reed. You ask dangerous questions, Commander. I need to understand, Reed said, standing tall despite his fear. These terror species, were they human? The Admiral moved closer, his massive body blocking the exit. Not exactly. But close enough that when we discovered Earth, many in the Concorde wanted to destroy your planet immediately. Reed felt cold. Then why didn't you? Because some of us believed in second chances, Kor said. And because I wanted to see if the similarities were more than physical. The Admiral touched the table, and the display changed to show a new mission assignment. Tomorrow you join the research vessel Seeker of Truth *. They are excavating battlefields from the last Great War. Perhaps there you will find the answers you seek. Reed looked at the assignment, then back at the Admiral's unreadable face. And if I don't like what I find? Then pray, Commander Reed, that you are not as much like them as we fear. The research vessel Seeker of Truth * was smaller than the flagship but still impressive. It carried scientists from 12 different species, all studying the last Great War. Reed stood on the bridge as the ship approached a gray planet hanging in space like a dead thing. No blue oceans, no green lands, just dust and ruins. Malcora, said Dr. Ellis, a human archaeologist who had joined the mission. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. Once the home of a mighty civilization, now just another dead world from the war. What happened to it? Reed asked. According to records, it was destroyed in the final battles against the terror species, she said. We're here to study their weapons and tactics. The ship landed near a vast field of twisted metal, the remains of an ancient battle. As Reed stepped onto the planet's surface, his boots kicked up gray dust that never seemed to settle. Professor Nix, the lead alien scientist, approached them. He looked like a tall insect walking on two legs, with 4 arms and large compound eyes. Commander Reed, Nix said, his voice clicking, your presence here is unusual. Admiral Kor must have his reasons. I'm just following orders, Reed said. Nix's antenna twitched. Indeed. Well, stay close to Dr. Ellis, and touch nothing without permission. For 3 days, the team explored the ruins. They found destroyed ships, ancient weapons, and the remains of structures that once reached into the sky. Reed noticed that Dr. Ellis kept taking samples and looking troubled. On the 4th day, they discovered a bunker buried deep underground. The metal door was still intact after 10,000 years. Remarkable preservation, Professor Nix said as his team worked to open it. The terror species used materials we still cannot fully replicate. When the door finally opened, cold air rushed out. Inside, they found a room filled with strange machines and containers. It's a genetic storage facility, Dr. Ellis whispered to Reed. They were keeping DNA samples. Reed looked at the rows of containers, each holding clear liquid with something floating inside. But why? Many ancient species stored genetic material in case of extinction, Professor Nix explained, examining the containers with his instruments. These appear to be samples from their warriors. Dr. Ellis took readings with her own device, then looked at Reed with wide eyes. She showed him her screen so only he could see it. The words made his heart stop. Asterisk DNA Meow DETCTED 97.6% Silnilarite 2 human and G and omity asterisk. Professor, Dr. Ellis said carefully, I believe we should analyze these samples immediately. Professor Nix was reluctant but finally agreed. Back on the ship, the samples were placed in the lab's genetic analyzer. Reed, Dr. Ellis, and Professor Nix watched as the results appeared on the main screen. Professor Nix's entire body went still. This cannot be correct. Run it again, Reed suggested, his mouth dry. They ran the test 3 more times. The results were always the same. The terror species, Dr. Ellis said quietly, were human. Or at least, they were our ancestors. That's impossible, Reed argued. Humans evolved on Earth. We didn't have space travel 10,000 years ago. Professor Nix turned all his compound eyes toward Reed. Your history is incomplete, Commander. It seems some humans left Earth long ago, spreading across the stars. And they nearly destroyed us all. Reed stared at the genetic results on the screen, the truth finally clear. We need to contact Admiral Core, he said. I think I understand now why humans are forbidden from galactic wars. Admiral Core's private meeting room aboard the asterisk Eternal Harmony asterisk was dimly lit. Reed sat across from the ancient alien, with Dr. Ellis beside him. Between them, a holographic display showed the DNA test results. So now you know, Admiral Core said, his voice like stones grinding together. The terror species were your ancestors. But how is that possible? Reed asked. Earth's history shows no evidence of advanced space travel 10,000 years ago. The Admiral moved his massive body, adjusting his tentacles. What do your legends say about Atlantis? Lemuria, ancient advanced civilizations that disappeared. Reed and Dr. Ellis exchanged glances. Those are just myths, Dr. Ellis said, but her voice lacked conviction. Not myths, Core said. Memories. Fragments of truth passed down through generations. The Admiral touched a control, and the hologram changed to show Earth as it might have looked 12,000 years ago. Different coastlines, different climate patterns. A small group of humans achieved space travel much earlier than the rest of your species remembers, Core explained. Perhaps they were a special civilization, or perhaps they were helped by other travelers. We do not know for certain. But Earth shows no evidence of this technology, Dr. Ellis argued. Because they left, Core said simply, taking their knowledge with them. Those who remained either died in natural disasters or lost their technology and regressed. Reed leaned forward. And these early humans, they became the terror species. Yes, they spread across the stars, establishing colonies on hundreds of worlds. At first, they were peaceful explorers and traders. The hologram showed human settlements spreading across a map of stars. Peaceful at first, then turning red as conflicts grew. What changed them? Reed asked. Nothing changed them, Core said. They were always human. But in space, they encountered other species with different values, different ways of thinking. The Admiral's eyes seemed to look into a distant past. When conflicts began, most species fought according to ancient rules and traditions. War was ritualized, controlled. But humans, we fought to win, Reed finished. Yes, you did not understand or care about the rituals. You saw war as a problem to solve, not a tradition to honor. You adapted quickly, using enemies' weapons against them. You studied weaknesses and exploited them without mercy. The hologram showed battles where human ships used surprising tactics, attacking from unexpected angles, using stolen technology in new ways. The worst part was your speed, Core continued. Other species might take generations to adapt their tactics. Humans changed strategies daily, sometimes hourly. It was like fighting an enemy that could read your mind and knew your next move before you made it. Dr. Ellis shook her head in disbelief. But genocide, wiping out entire species. Not intentional genocide, Core said. But your ancestors created weapons they could not control, tactics that spread beyond their targets. In their drive to win each battle, they lost sight of the larger war for survival itself. Reed sat back, the weight of this history pressing down on him. So when you found Earth again, many wanted to destroy it, Core admitted. Others argued that modern humans might be different, that 10,000 years of separate evolution might have changed you. Have we? Reed asked quietly. Changed, I mean. Admiral Core's massive eyes blinked slowly. That is what I have been trying to determine, Commander. And soon, we will have our answer. What do you mean? Reed asked. The Ravagers are gathering a massive fleet, Core said. Larger than anything we have faced in centuries. The Concorde may not survive this battle, unless we try something different. Reed understood immediately. You want to see how we fight? Yes, Core said. The question is, will you fight like your ancestors and destroy us all, or have you truly become something new? The command center of the Eternal Harmony buzzed with activity. Officers from a dozen species rushed between stations, preparing for battle. On the main screen, hundreds of red dots represented the approaching Ravager fleet. Reed stood in a corner, watching. No one had asked for his help. No one wanted human tactics. Tala approached him, her scales a dark orange color that Reed had never seen before. The Ravagers have gathered every ship they have, she said quietly. Over 300 vessels heading for the Proxima colony. 2 million civilians live there. Reed studied the tactical display. The Concorde fleet is outnumbered 2-1. Yes, Admiral Core has called for reinforcements, but they won't arrive in time. Reed watched as Captain Moore organized the ships into the same ceremonial formations he had seen before, the same patterns that had been so ineffective in the smaller battle. This won't work, Reed said, more to himself than to Tala. I know, Tala replied, surprising him. But tradition demands we fight this way. Reed couldn't stay quiet any longer. He walked to where Admiral Core stood watching the preparations. Admiral, Reed said, you're going to lose this battle if you fight it like the others. The massive alien turned slowly to face him. Do you have a suggestion, Commander? Reed hesitated only for a second. Let me show you. To his surprise, the Admiral nodded. Show us your human tactics, Commander. Show us what we fear. Reed was given a small station at the edge of the command center. As officers watched with suspicion, he quickly drew up a battle plan and sent it to Tala. This is unorthodox, she said as she reviewed it. It's effective, Reed replied. Split your forces. Use the smaller ships as bait to draw their fleet apart. Hide your larger vessels behind Proxima's moons. Admiral Core reviewed the plan but shook his head. The Council would never approve such tactics. They break too many traditions. Then let me command just 10 ships, Reed argued. A small squadron to test my approach. After a long moment, Admiral Core agreed. If we are to be destroyed anyway, perhaps we should try something new. The battle began as the Ravager fleet appeared from faster-than-light travel. They attacked in a solid mass, overwhelming the lead Concorde ships with concentrated fire. Reed's small squadron waited behind one of Proxima's moons, just as he had planned. Now, he ordered, full speed. Target their command ships only. His 10 ships shot from behind the moon, taking a path no one expected. The Ravagers, focused on the main Concorde fleet, didn't notice the small group until it was too late. Reed's ships fired on the 3 largest Ravager vessels, their command ships. In the chaos that followed, The Ravager formation broke apart as ships lost contact with their leaders. Phase 2. Reed commanded. Scatter formation. Each ship target a different group. His squadron split up, creating confusion among the Ravager fleet. The main Concorde fleet, seeing the opening, pressed their advantage. 2 hours later, it was over. The Ravagers retreated, leaving behind 60 destroyed ships. The Concorde had lost only 23 vessels, far fewer than expected. In the command center, officers stared at Reed with a mixture of awe and fear. Admiral Core approached slowly. "Efficient," the ancient alien said, "just like your ancestors." Reed met his gaze, but with one difference. "We protected life today. We didn't take it needlessly." The Admiral's eyes blinked slowly. "Perhaps. But the question remains, can the galaxy trust humans with such power again?" Reed looked around at the aliens watching him. Their future, and humanity's, would be decided by how they answered that question. 1 week after the battle, the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from all 327 species gathered in the Great Hall on the Concorde's capital world. Reed stood before them, feeling small under the gaze of so many alien eyes. Admiral Core stood beside him, a silent presence neither supporting nor opposing. "Commander Jack Reed of Earth," said the head counselor, a being of pure light contained in a special suit. "You have violated our most sacred law. Humans were forbidden from participating in Concorde military operations." Murmurs spread through the vast chamber. "Yet," continued the head counselor, "your actions saved countless lives at Proxima Colony. The council is divided on how to proceed." An older alien with blue skin and 6 eyes stood up. "The evidence is clear. Humans are the terror species reborn. We cannot risk another galactic war. Earth must be isolated from the Concorde immediately." Many council members shouted their agreement. "And what happens the next time the Ravagers attack?" Reed asked, his voice cutting through the noise. "Will you sacrifice more lives to keep following the same old patterns?" The room fell silent. "My ancestors made terrible mistakes," Reed continued. "They focused on winning battles at any cost. They forgot that the purpose of fighting is to protect life, not destroy it." He paused, looking around the chamber. "But we are not them. We've evolved, just as you have. We've learned from history, even the parts we forgot." Admiral Core moved forward, his massive form commanding attention. "I have observed Commander Reed and the other humans carefully," he said, his ancient voice echoing. "They possess the same tactical minds as their ancestors, yes, but they also show something the terror species lost: restraint, compassion." Dr. Ellis joined them, carrying a datapad. "We've been studying the genetic samples," she explained. "The terror species shows signs of genetic manipulation, changes that made them more aggressive, more focused on dominance. They altered themselves," Admiral Core added. "Modern humans still carry the potential for brilliance in war, but without the drive for endless conquest that doomed their ancestors." The council debated for hours. Some demanded Earth's permanent isolation. Others saw the value in what Reed had demonstrated. Finally, the head counselor raised his glowing hands for silence. "We propose a compromise," he announced. "Humans may join Concorde defense operations, but under a strict code of conduct. Human tactics will be studied and integrated carefully, with proper oversight." Reed smiled for the first time in days. Earth will agree to those terms. 3 months later, Reed stood before a new class of officers on the Eternal Harmony *. The room held humans from Earth and aliens from a dozen worlds. "War is not about destruction," Reed told them. "It's about protection." The ancient humans forgot that. They became so focused on winning that they lost sight of why they were fighting. He walked among his students. "In this class, humans will teach you efficiency, adaptation, and innovation. And you will teach us restraint, tradition, and respect for life in all its forms." Back on Earth, a new memorial was being built. a reminder of humanity's forgotten past among the stars and a promise for a better future. In his quarters that night, Reed looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there were the worlds where his ancestors had fought and died. Somewhere out there were the ruins of an empire they had built and lost. "We won't make the same mistakes," he promised the stars. "This time, we'll get it right." The galaxy had given humanity a second chance, and Reed was determined to make it count.